10-race programme at Sha Tin on Sunday, with the Pokawee Cup being our feature race. 7 races on the turf. We've got 3 on the all-weather. A very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined here in the studio by Paul Alley and Brett Davis. And Brett, the Pokawee Cup, really good sprint, Class 3 1200 metres, and a cracking race to finish the card too.
Some good racing overall, actually, Andrew. I think it's also a day where there'll be a lot of interest in a number of new horses that are having their first start, so there'll be plenty of track work, and obviously Jenny's Paddock parade thoughts will be very important as per normal. So we're getting, what are we, half a dozen meetings in now. We're starting to see the fields become a little bit bigger and a few new horses start to arrive. A few have been, of course, on the retirement list recently. A couple we're pretty happy about. But overall, I think it's quite a good day, and yeah, a couple of races on the dirt as well. Yeah,
Paul, no jackpots coming into the card, but Brett's touched on the fact these new horses, which are going to be very interesting to have a look at later on.
There's a whole bunch of first starters, and there's horses that have had very limited starts as well. I'm talking about Household King, Master Albert, those type of horses. Can they go on? You know, they've obviously shown some ability. Then you've got all these first starters as well, Time to Celebrate, Fast and Furious, etc. as well. So it's an what's the word I'm looking at? Intriguing.
Yeah.
Got it out in the end. An intriguing card here, and I think could be some good betting races. If you want to take on some of these favourites, then you could be rewarded.
Paul's made a point too of the last couple of meetings. The tracks have been playing pretty fair, and I agree totally. I thought initially there may be some sort of little biases with the new grass, sort of depending where the rail was positioned. But the tracks have been playing very fair. Worth noting, we go back to the A course, so the true course, A position for the 10-race card, or 8 races.
One bit of news since last week's show as well, with the Champions Mile, the QE2, and the Chairman's Sprint Prize now all on one day at the end of April. It's huge.
Fantastic, yeah. Look, it was that way many, many years ago, and then obviously there were a few changes, but I think, overall it's a terrific decision by the club. They've obviously got together and had a number of meetings with certain people and so forth, and they've come up with this decision as being the best way forward, and I totally agree with it, and looking forward to it. So we've now got 2 massive days here in Hong Kong.
Yeah, December and then the end of April. Certainly plenty to look forward to. They're good to have you back as well, Brett, as well. As we get
got the lozenges handy.
As we get into Sunday's programme, we kick things off with a turf race, 1800 metres class 4, so 7 on the turf, A course, 3 on the all-weather. So 1800 metres to kick off. Just the 8 runners going on, headed by Industrious Way. Half the field behind Hit a Home Run. Industrious Way was one. He fared best. Unique Joyous came out of that race as well. Clyde Nine's first up, as is King Bountiful. Happy Rocky last at Happy Vale in his return. Je Ponce was a winner last time out, goes up in class, up in trip. Midnight Promise and Proud Sky also all behind Hit a Home Run.
Yeah, and then we get into some longer races. This is the longest race of the day, but the first few meetings we've had fairly short races, particularly at Sha Tin. Long run down the back stretch. Cloud 9, now he's led a recent trial. He was a winner in this class last season. He's likely to lead. Industrious Way to cross over. Didn't really think there was anything else out of the box, so it should settle pretty quickly, I would have thought.
Yeah, Cloud 9 is just a horse I'm going to concentrate on. Not too much track work with the 8 runners, but he's summered well, I think, and he's come out of...
It's not on his own.
Yeah, exactly. But he's come out of it nicely, and you can see this is his 2 gallops leading into it. A little bit hot, but it's been quite humid here in Hong Kong. And on the 22nd of September was his last bit. Just some nice, quiet work, but I just like the way he's going, and as you mentioned, he's won a trial as well.
Yep, led all the way in a recent trial, defeated NASA, so interesting.
Yeah, he's a nice-looking horse. We'll see that trial as well, just that one win, Happy Valley over the 2200 so far. Well, let's kick things off with possibly the key race, because half the field come in here. Industrious Way fares best, but I just wonder whether Proud Sky might be the one to turn it around with the pull in the weights and maybe a clearer run in transit as well.
And the extra distance, I think, as well, Andrew. Yeah, Proud Sky. I think we sort of touched on the fact when we looked at this race day, Paul, that Proud Sky would be better suited to the longer trip. Industrious Way, 7-year-old, very consistent, very honest horse. He's covered a lot of ground here and sort of loomed up to win it and then got knocked over in the end by Hit a Home Run.
Very fit horse. He had a busy season last season. He's one of 67, Industrious Way. Proud Sky's dropped 10 pounds coming into this race as well. So after that one, he's dropped a little bit more pudding.
Yeah, he was a course and distance winner that last season, but that was in Class 5, but he may well have turned a corner. As may well have Je Ponce as well, a last start winner. So he goes up in trip as well, up to the 1800 metres, but again, he's also up in class.
I remember calling this race, Andrew, and thinking Je Ponce at this point cannot. But once he gets to the outside, he does find a new lease of life, so to speak. He'd been threatening to run a good race like this, and this was obviously the easier class, but when he does get into the clear here, he sort of sees daylight and says, right, I'm happy to go now, and does just that. Yeah,
I thought it was a strong win, and I think he can take the step up. The interesting thing is Joe Moreira rode him that day. He's not riding him on Sunday, so you should get a better price as well. Chad Schofield takes them out.
Yeah, it is 5-4. He didn't beat a lot there, but
no.
A win's a win.
Yeah. Joe's jumped off. He's jumped onto King Bountiful. He's first up for the year, John Size train. He had a good year last year, King Bountiful. This is his recent trial.
You can see him, he was wide most of the way here, so it was a reasonably quiet trial. He's on an all-time high rating at the moment, King Bountiful. Did have a good season last season. Small field, low barrier draw, John Size and Joe Moreira. You've got to take notice. I snuck him in on a fourth line.
I can never get him right, King Bountiful. I've tipped him a few times and he's done nothing, and then I've left him alone. He's got up at 20, so... look, I can see why Joe's gone with him. He's ridden him 10 times for 3 wins, and this is sort of his class. But I'm going to let him go because he'll be under the odds, and I'll be happy to shop elsewhere. Cloud9's an interesting runner, Paul. I mean, he did win in this grade last season, and I think it might have been sort of fairly early on in his prep, or at least sort of, you know, up on the pace. 2200 at the Valley it was. He's going to lead this, I would have thought.
He's going to be... He looks like the only natural leader in the race. And I like this trial. He was really pushed out, and NASA is no slug in behind him. He's a lot higher rated. And I just think he's summered well, this horse. I know he's got a really bad record at Sha Tin, but I think he can overcome that because he's well rated.
All right, OK, just the 8 to sort through. Sound like Cloud9's got a spot, but who's on top?
Yeah, I'm going to put him on top, actually, Andrew. He's won off a rating of 60. He's now rated 54, so he's quite well rated, this horse. As is Industrialist Way, he's won off 67 and he's rated 60. Put him in for second. Je Pense, I think, can make that step up. And I tossed up between Proud Sky, King Bountiful. Not much between them, but I ended up putting King Bountiful in for 4. So 3, 1, 6 and 4. I'd play it with the exotic, so QQP's 1, 3, 6.
Yeah, look, King Bountiful's a chance. I've got him on the bench. If there's a scratching or something like that, he'll go into my tips. But I've gone with Industrialist Way. I think he'll sit outside of Cloud9, and I think they'll dictate the terms here. And because he's had the run underneath the belt, I think he might be able to wear down Cloud9. So 1 to beat 3. Je Pense was Class 5, but it was a good win, and Proud Sky will appreciate the 1800 as opposed to the 16. I'm going to go 1, 3, 6 QP, but yeah, 1, 3, 6, 8 the numbers.